The Franco-Siamese War, also known as the Paknam Incident, was a short conflict that took place between France and Siam in 1893. The war was fought over French interests in Indochina, which were threatened by Siam's expansionist policies. At the time, France was expanding its colonial empire in Southeast Asia and had established control over Cambodia and Vietnam. Siam, which had traditionally been a regional power in the area, felt threatened by France's growing influence and sought to establish itself as a dominant force in the region. The conflict began when a French gunboat, the Luton, attempted to pass through the Chao Phraya River in Siam's territory. Siam, feeling that its sovereignty was being threatened, fired upon the vessel, and the French retaliated by bombarding the forts at Paknam, near Bangkok. The French Navy quickly dispatched more ships to the area, and Siam was forced to surrender. The war lasted only a few months, and the Treaty of Bangkok was signed in October 1893. Under the terms of the treaty, Siam was forced to cede Laos and Cambodia to France and to pay an indemnity of 3 million francs. The Franco-Siamese War was significant for several reasons. First, it marked the first time that a Western power had defeated an Asian power in a military conflict. Second, it demonstrated the power imbalance between European colonial powers and the weaker nations of Southeast Asia. Finally, it led to increased tensions between France and Siam and set the stage for future conflicts in the region. In the aftermath of the war, Siam began a program of modernization and reform in order to better compete with the European powers. The country began to modernize its military and economy and sought to establish closer ties with other Asian nations. The Franco-Siamese War also had an impact on international relations. It drew attention to the growing power of European colonialism and led to increased scrutiny of colonial policies and practices. It also demonstrated the limits of international law and the difficulties in resolving conflicts between nations with vastly different levels of power. In conclusion, the Franco-Siamese War was a short but significant conflict that had far-reaching consequences. It highlighted the power imbalance between European colonial powers and weaker nations in Southeast Asia, and set the stage for future conflicts in the region. The war was also a significant moment in the history of international relations and drew attention to the growing power of European colonialism.